It's going live. We're live.
Okay. Yeah, if you like, because I watch people, like if I'm watching somebody and I want to make comments, I'll watch them on my TV, but I'll also have it on my phone so I can make the comments. And there's normally a little bit of a delay between the two, but it's nothing like major. It's just a little bit, and sometimes it can help with your speed and shit like that too.
Well, now that everybody knows that on YouTube.
Listen, mate, I didn't have a dicky bird, mate, of what to do.
Well,
No, I didn't have a dicky bird a day, did I?
Arrived now, so let's.
Didn't have a dicky bird a day. Notice I ain't wearing the headphones, everybody. Yeah.
We want to welcome you guys to our, as you can see, an insightful conversation already. Cockney Buddha's here with me, and I love this mate. He's amazing. Thank you, mate, for coming on and having this chat with me. And
yeah, man, it's fun. It's fun, right? It's like, you've never done a live before, so it's funny because I feel like I'm actually holding your hand a little bit now because I know because you've got it down, dude. You know what you're doing. I look at your thumbnails and I'm like, look at this guy. I'll put a frigging meme up and go, well, why not getting anybody looking at my stuff? But you're like, you got like, and I'm like, this guy's got it down. But now I feel like I'm a little bit ahead, because I've actually done lives before.
Yeah. It's definitely something I want to do more of because I want to know more of, get more interaction with the community. And so, and in talking, it kind of fits in with the whole topic we're talking about today, which is fear. Right? Is understanding fear and mental health and how you can take that to either hold you back or propel you forward.
Yeah.
Right?
What? Because you had plenty of experience with that, matey.
Yeah.
Let's face it. You've had, when it comes down to fear, at least I wasn't looking at like, hang on a minute, am I going to pop me socks? Right? Am I a gunner like you was? Right? It's a little bit of a different story because there's different levels of fear.
Yeah.
Right? And I always think that, there's different levels of fear. When the fear gets a little stronger, you go a little deeper with what you know.
Yeah. So how would you rate your fear, right? Because the last podcast we were talking about your fear of the phone. Like what level was that for you?
The phone thing?
Yeah. Remember?
Shit, dude. Out of 10, 12? It was pretty bloody bad, mate. Yeah. I mean, it was, it was literally couldn't answer the phone, even though there was someone on the other end. I'm looking at them. I know they are.
Yeah.
I know that it could even be like someone that I'm really, really close to. Yeah, and I used to the old arsehole would give way. So it was like, so yeah, it was a 12 out of 10, if that's possible.
Well, that is possible. I mean, we know it's possible, right? I mean,
it was possible with you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I've had a lot of fear. And then, I've also realized, and I think this is something that other people don't realize, sometimes you think you're afraid when you're really excited.
Yeah.
Right? Because something's new and unfamiliar, kind of like going live, right? I might be fearful, thinking, oh my God, I'm afraid. But really, I'm actually excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And what is the difference? And being able to check in with myself and go, okay, what is the truth here?
Right.
And what is it trying to tell me? And am I really afraid or am I just more excited? Have you ever experienced that?
Oh shit, mate, all the time. It's we used to have season tickets to Universal Studios, right?
Yeah.
Right? Have you been on the Rip Ride Rocket? The one that you're not been on that thing?
Is that the one that goes straight up and then drops you?
Yeah, man. It goes boom, and then it just starts climbing, and you're on your back.
Yes.
Looking straight. Yeah. I used to line it because it's all about rock music and shit as well, right? Because you can plug in your music into that pad, right? Anybody that comes to Universal Studios, go to Rip Ride Rocket because it's one of the best coasters. Because you bang your music in, and then it gets to a certain point on the coaster when it's starting, and that kicks in with the speakers on each side, right? So we went online and we found a secret code, right? Dude, everybody was doing it. Yeah, because it only gave you so many tunes, right, in their memory bank or whatever, right? But you put this code in, like as you had to be quick, you had to jump in the car, get on that, and of course I wouldn't have my glasses on, so I'm like freaking trying to see that, the numbers on that pad, right? But you bang this number in real quick, and then it takes you into this whole freaking plethora of different genres of music. So I used to put Ministry on. And it's like, if you've ever heard Ministry, it's like really metally, industrially kind of, So I knew this was going to happen. So that lining up, not just the coaster, but the music added in and all the excitement and what, you had that feeling, of like, ooh, there's the fear of you're going to freaking like near drop to your death, even though you've got a cage around you, freaking metal all around you, right? Keeping you in your seat. But it's that fear as well of dropping and shit like that, but mixed with the excitement. Yeah, man, you easily get them mixed up. Yeah. Have you had experiences like that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's funny you talk about Universal because we went on. There's some ride there that goes. I think it's not a coaster. It's Circle.
Okay.
It goes straight up.
Oh, you're sitting and you go like this.
Hanging. Right.
Yeah,
and I thought, okay,
yeah.
like we thought the problem was, like there was the going up. So this is interesting in fear. I got on there with my dad and I thought, okay, going up looks scary until you get on the ride, which is kind of a metaphor really for fear in your life. And right. So I'm prepared, waiting, the door's shut. I don't know if you've ridden that ride. And I'm like, okay, we're going to get shot up. Or we're the drop actually. I'm sorry. The drop was the worst. Going up wouldn't be bad or whatever.
Yeah.
The opposite, right?
Yeah.
The doors closed,
don't know.
like, okay, yeah, we'll go up, no problem. The drop will be worse. Sorry, guys, if I confused you, but it is the opposite. That thing took off once the doors closed. I was screaming.
I've literally the only reason I used to go on. I only went on it for about 3 times on that ride. And the only reason I go on is because my kids were younger and they're like, come on, Dad, come on, and you don't want to look like the dad. It's like, oh, no, I can't do that. Right? No, kiddies, go on your own. Make Daddy look the fool. So I'm like, no, I'm going to get on. And I remember standing in the line waiting to go through those doors that you're talking about that open and then the chairs are just there, right, when they open. Yeah. And I remember standing there leaning, freaking like praying to Buddha, mate. Like, freaking save my ass, right? Because I'm like, what if he forgets to clip it in or something? I got all kinds of shit. Because it does, and you're just like, you're there 1 minute, and it just, poof, you're gone.
Right.
And yeah, your arsehole gives way. And when you get to the top, when you get that, the best bit of it is when you get that suspended feeling.
Yes.
It's like you're in midair, and you're like not on your seat, but you're like not moving. It's the coolest feeling ever. And you're looking around everybody else, and everybody's like, hair is up here, and you're like, well, and then all of a sudden you go, bosh, down, right? It's like, scares the shit out of you.
Well, and it does, right? And then there's that fine line of how do you determine what's fear and anxiety?
Right. Well, you're choosing for a start, right? I mean, you're like choosing to go on this thing.
Right.
Right. So I think sometimes when we make a choice and we know there's fear there, it depends on how much we want it.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I've had that kind of experience, but and then the fear is overtaken.
Yeah.
And I may not have done what I set out to do. Right? But it depends, and I tell everybody, I set the intent. Yeah. If you set the intent that you want something, and then there's the commitment to that. If you set an intent and you set a commitment, you're going to be more inclined to maybe move through the fear.
Yes. Than
if you're kind of wishy-washy, procrastinating, really not feeling it, letting the fear take over, not doing your tools, then it can stop you in a heartbeat. I mean, you don't even know it. Right?
Right. You're in a story. And I think that's something I know I've told my clients and worked with them and said, when you're in that fearful place of pausing and saying, okay, what do I know is true? Right. Because fear will tell you something that is not right. It's the false evidence of believing that something's real when it's not. And so if you can pause and go, what am I telling myself now? And what part of that story is actually true? And you'll find 9 times out of 10, what you're telling yourself and what is real isn't, they don't match,
Right, they don't match together. Yeah,
right?
yeah. You got to challenge. You got to challenge this all the time. You
Yes.
know, and through my journey, what I started realizing was the amount of belief systems that we carry, that we think, that we make a reality that we fear.
Yeah.
You know, picked up from somebody else, and there's no reality to it. There's nothing there that we have had any experience with whatsoever. So how do we know?
Right.
You know, that you, and then you're coming up to do something that you want to do, and you've got some kind of fear that you may have picked up as someone said to you.
Hmm.
That fear builds up, and if you're not willing and got that determination, it'll stop you. I mean, I've been stopped many times. I'm sure you have.
Oh, well, yeah. And even, and then as stuff happens to you, like for me, I had to question my beliefs as I adapted to my brain injury. You know what I mean? And understanding like what I feared year one or year two, so to speak, after my injury. I think the first year was all about getting my physicality down because I would walk and lean to the left. I couldn't.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, my balance was way off. I had to use like a walking stick because I would just automatically lean to the left, or if I like put a coffee cup down, I'd slam it because I couldn't judge the distance.
Oh wow, mate. Wow.
So I had to,
Wow.
get okay with that. And then once I got the physicality, like year two is all my emotions, and then as you're
Yeah.
going through this, so you form new beliefs, to your point. The support
Right.
group and other survivors around there have certain beliefs. The doctors and nurses have beliefs of what you can and can't do. And then you have to keep questioning that and go, is this true? And is this real? And sometimes you don't know. You got to push yourself to see what are my limits, right?
Right. Right.
How
Right.
do I stretch behind now these comfort zones that aren't maybe serving me right now?
So how did you get through that kind of fear then? Because I mean, you can't taste,
Right.
right?
And taste
I
or
mean,
smell.
you
Yeah.
can't smell. I mean, there's two fears right there. When
Yeah.
you could, it's not like you didn't have any experience with it whatsoever,
Right.
right? All of a sudden, it's gone. So anything that you've had and you've had experience, especially senses, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's gone,
Yeah.
there's an extreme amount of fear there. So how did you deal with the all of a sudden knowing? How did you get through that bit?
It took some time. I mean, I think it also added to my depression because as societies, we put a lot around food, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
celebrate around food. You experience a culture around food. You do a lot, and I can't experience that with anybody. So, I had to reevaluate and look is what is my belief around food? How do I use food? I use food a bit of a crutch for an emotional relief,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest. And now that was taken away, so I really had to deal with my emotions on a new level.
Wow.
So that was all new. So it kind of, I mean, people wouldn't think if you lose your taste or smell that might add to your depression, but it did.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I was a foodie beforehand. So my mom's a great cook. And it was funny thing is I worked in a grocery store. So, I'm looking at here, I'm working in a grocery store part time and I can't taste or smell any of the food in here.
Holy crap.
So you start breaking down your meals and going like, why am I putting salad dressing on my salad? Why am I eating ketchup on my hamburger? Why? I can't.
Was it an automatic thing for you? Was it just like was you grabbing the ketchup even though you
Well,
couldn't?
yeah.
Automatic,
You
right?
realize, right? You work out a habit, and that's something I try to remind my
Right.
clients and people is 90% of your day is habitual. You're
Yeah.
not even mindfully choosing it. You're just
Yeah.
moving,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Automatic. Yeah.
Automatic.
Get up at the same time, clean your teeth the same time, take the shower the same way, friggin' go the same way to work. Yeah.
So we're so habitual that fear can really jar us because it's like, well, wait a minute, I take the same place to work every day. I go the same, way. Like we're so just innate. So yes, I would just grab the ketchup or I would just do that. And so I really
Right.
had to question that. But I got certified in mindfulness for a clinical mindfulness. So I had to be mindful for like 3-4 months, like of everything.
Wow, dude.
We had to write
Like
down
complete present. I mean, that's like complete presence, mate. I
Oh.
mean, that's like,
every day. Yeah. No matter what you did, how did the car handle door feel? How did the steering wheel feel?
wow, like relearning it all.
All of it as to get certified. So
So you had hang on a minute. So you had no idea about weights and things like that, like something being heavy or anything like that? Or did you have a concept of that?
I couldn't judge the distance.
Oh, wow.
So I couldn't tell you, my brain couldn't judge the distance between the coffee cup and the table,
Oh shit. Okay.
right?
Damn.
It wasn't there. So I would go to set it down and I'd be like, bang, because I
Man.
didn't,
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't get the distance until my brain got there. So I had to, that's why I always say I learned to adapt. And so you can adapt around anything because your brain will learn it. And that's where,
Yeah.
neuroplasticity and all that stuff that I'm passionate about, because when people say, well, I can't do that or I can't, I'm like, you can. You just got to retrain your brain.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's really hard to take somebody that's like you're saying with the program, right? With the mundane same thing day in, day out, and they're coming and wondering why they're in the same rhythm pattern that they're in and can't get out of it. And then as soon as you start disturbing it to where the brain is like, I don't know what's going on here, it's complete pattern change, they go into that lost area. It's uncanny. Nearly every person I start with after a few sessions come in and go, Steve, I'm lost. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, yeah. Like, breathe into it. It's all right. Right. You're going, you're completely shifting. You're doing things completely different from what your normal is, and that is getting on top of that fear, and being able to do, part of it is going into some of those areas of fear to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's
Right.
unfamiliar. Like a lot of people will call that even the dark night of the soul. Where you have this depression because, and people are like, well, what is that? And I go, you're not who you used to be, and you're not quite yet who you're becoming.
Right.
So you're
Yeah.
in this messy middle, and you do feel lost because
Yeah.
everything that you were is gone, and yet you don't know quite where you are yet, which is, I feel like my brain injury put me in there. So you're in this messy middle, and it can feel fearful. It can
Yeah.
feel
No doubt.
right. It's like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
really, it's unfamiliar.
Yeah. Because it doesn't know. It's
Right.
taken. It's what it knew is gone.
Right. And so your brain will adjust. Your brain, people always think, well, my brain is here to make me happy. It's not. You're here. The only purpose of your brain is to keep you alive.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it's
And
here.
safe. They
Yeah,
say.
safe. Exactly. So it's going to look for a story to relate to. And when it doesn't find one, it's going to raise a caution flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And go, oh, well, wait a minute here. There's something something ain't right. But that isn't always the case because we're not living like our ancestors, Neanderthals and all that.
Right.
There's not a
Right.
tiger trying to eat us. We're the only people that can actually create an anxiety attack when there isn't one.
Yeah, for sure. Well, they say, I remember I think I read it. It's one of those things where I have no idea where I got it from. But I have no idea. I read and hear so much shit, mate. If someone says, where'd you get that from? I'm like, I don't know. So they think I'm blowing smoke up their ass. But I've read it somewhere, right? So they say that, like, when in the animal kingdom, when a frigging a deer's getting chased by something or whatever, right?
Yeah.
The deer has that response like we do, the fight or flight, and takes off. But as soon as it knows there's no danger, it just goes back to normal.
Right.
Right? It goes back to grazing, and there is none of that what we get. Ours carries on. We have that fight or flight, like total body chemistry change, right? You're getting ready to freaking take off. You take off whether there's danger there or not.
Right.
If you've got the fear there, it's just the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't come down
No.
like a deer would or whatever. The brain doesn't know. It just because it's still trying to freaking defend from something.
Right.
So and then you stay in this heightened state for God knows how long.
I was in it for years.
Yeah.
I mean, when I went to EMDR therapy, when I finally went and saw my therapist, because I was in such a deep, depression at the time, and she said, "You're living in survival mode."
No
when that
shit.
happened,
Yeah.
because I don't remember my injury, I automatically went into fight or flight. And my body went into fight.
Right.
It's
Right,
like we're
right.
dying here, where there's something serious, and it never came out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
literally just trying to figure it out, and every day just take it as I can. And so, my therapist looked at me and she goes, well, you can't live in this mode. That's why your nervous system and your body and your brain is just so off kilter right now.
Right. Right.
We've
So
got-
so it was a different. So it was like completely looking at the other piece of you and letting go of that,
Oh yeah, that was a
accept
process.
accepting it, being able to let go of that person because it's like a
I had to
freaking
grieve.
you can't even relate.
Yeah, I had to grieve. I had to grieve the loss of that
Shit.
person of who I am. And the thing is, people will tell you, and brain injury survivors will share this all the time and say, people will say to us all the time, I miss the person you used to be or whatever. But the reality is, you don't need to have a brain injury to understand that everybody changes. I just changed.
Yeah.
I had a moment of rapid change,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
the guy
Yeah.
that you are, even you and I, 2 months ago, we're not the same people we are. We all
No.
change.
Yeah. Yeah. Constantly.
Right.
You're not even the same person you was a second ago.
No,
You,
exactly.
you're in constant motion,
Right.
constant change,
Right.
and it's like that's why it's like that question: Who am I?
Right.
Well, you're not who you think you are.
Nope.
Even you've completely changed already. It's like when I tell people about breathing,
Yeah.
right? And I say to them, make every breath count because it's the last one you're going to see of that breath.
For sure. Yeah.
You're never going to see the same breath again ever.
No.
From the day you're born, every single breath is going to be completely different from the last one. So, and you never repeat it.
Never.
So, and it brings to mind, oh shit, valuable, right? I'm not going to see this again.
Right.
So even, right.
There's some people who are begging to be in that situation, and so for me, it was that it was being mindful and understanding and shifting my mindset and going, okay, it is what it is right now. This is who I am right now. How do I adapt? And the one thing that I did, I forced myself to go to a meditation retreat where I meditated for 8 to 10 hours.
That's crazy, dude.
And I first signed up, it was like this Buddhist Dothan retreat. And I didn't know it was going to be 8 to 10 hours when I signed up. And I got there and I was like, what the hell?
You didn't know?
No, I didn't.
Would you miss the memo on that one when you signed?
Yes, I did. I was like, what did I do?
Let me pay this money and not know what the hell is going on. That's a good one there, Becky.
I tend to do that. I tend to jump right in and go, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then get there and go, what? How many hours?
Well, right. And the thing is, you sat on the same cushion every day. So they called it creating a container. And so you had to sit on the same cushion every day. You got up the same day. They literally took all your choices away from you.
Yeah.
You knew when you were going to eat.
Raw.
You knew when you were going to wake up. And we couldn't talk. We were in noble silence. So you were with 50 people meditating all week and couldn't speak to each other. You totally just had to come to terms with yourself. And they had told us in the beginning, they said, listen, some of you are going to want to leave. You're going to hit your edges.
Okay? Yeah, for sure. I was going to ask you who left.
Right. Some of you will leave, but if you can hang on for 3 days, your brain and everything will adjust and you'll settle in. And so just give yourself 3 days. And they were right, because day 2, I was just like, what the hell did I do? Why did I sign up for this?
Getting into that, getting where the brain is like, it's getting to that.
Your brain is
accepting kind of.
Well, yeah, it was unfamiliar. So, I wasn't necessarily afraid, but I was. That was a low level fear.
Yeah.
Of what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, this is insane. But once I settled into it, I'll be honest with you, it was life changing. I wish I had did it a week. You could do it a week or 3 weeks or a month. I wish I had done it a month.
Oh, no shit. Wow. Yeah. Where did you do that at?
I did it up at this retreat called Karma Choling in the mountains of Vermont.
Oh, no shit. All right.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing up there. It was amazing, and I have still really good friends. And it was crazy how much we all bonded without talking to each other.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. Yeah, especially the people that stay there and they're right there at the end. It's like that.
Only 2 people left, and we had.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, we had ages 18 to 80. Everything in between.
Wow, that's awesome. Damn, because normally a load of people drop out because it's just unbearable.
Yeah, we had 2 people drop out. Everybody stayed, and what I learned from that, and really what it taught me in dealing with fear, was that the only thing that we can ever count on is change.
Yeah.
So they said that to us every morning, and they would, because we would line up outside and they'd have us walk down in nature and come back before we would go to sit, and they would say, if you can embrace impermanence and understand and accept that everything in your life will always change and is always changing, you will eliminate a lot of suffering in your life.
Buddhism 101.
Right. Exactly. You know what I mean? But people don't understand that. And it also helps with the fear and the anxiety, because now there's nothing, when something changes, you're not so anxious or you're not so afraid, because you're like, okay, yes, this is the world, right? It's going to
Right,
change.
right, right,
I can handle
right,
it.
right. And it's. I mean, the thing for me really was the missing out on so much, right? Beforehand,
Yeah.
before I knew what to do, you know. For me, it literally was like, okay, I'm just going to say yes to everything now, and then figure it out.
Right.
That's the way I went, right? Everything my therapist threw at me, yeah, yeah, yeah. I just kept saying yeah. And then I get into some situations where like, yeah, I'm like shitting bricks, man. You know, like, oh my God, what did I say yes for?
Yeah.
Right? But you work through it. I wanted to be there.
Yeah.
So work, and then gradually that's how I got it to be, because I was like, I'm just done with keep on always saying no because of fear. And that was my part. So that was my program. Just
Right. So
program my brain.
you retrained your brain. And that's what I would do. It's like, let me put myself in, and hence when you laugh, when you're like, you didn't know that was in the outline, you were gonna, meditate like that. I tend to, for a whole year, I did this. I said, let me put myself in some uncomfortable situations on purpose.
Right. Right. Yeah. So you learn.
Right. Like, so much so that you're going to laugh at this. When I was coming back from Yellowstone, and I booked an Airbnb that was clothing optional.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. And I was like, this is either going to blow up or this is going to be, but I felt,
Oh, Beckett, you can't say that and then just stop at that bit of story. What do you mean? Did you get your clubber off?
it's funny how the universe works, because I was really,
Oh yeah, it does, mate.
I was really uncomfortable, but I
Keep
wanted,
talking.
I wanted to stretch my comfort zone, but I also wanted to learn about other people, right? Because in coaching and doing this stuff we do, and I know in schooling, we had to learn all the different spiritual modalities and stuff. You're going to be dealing with all types of people, with all types
For
of
sure.
and so you have to be open to that and understanding and meeting them where they're at. And so I
Yeah.
wanted to understand that culture.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And I'm like, the best way to learn it is to put myself in it.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so luckily, no, there was no other guests at their Airbnb. The husband was amazing. He was super sweet. He was clothed, but he gave me all this literature, and he ended up leaving. His wife was in a band or something, so I ended up having the place to myself.
Wow. Shit.
Yeah, so
Worked
the universe
out.
was like, yeah, the universe was like, I appreciate your initiative, but
You can't handle this fear, Beckett. You do not want to get your clubber off, Beckett.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, but I was open for whatever. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
him and I had some amazing conversations, and he gave me a lot of literature, and I left that understanding myself more.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
fear, we hide, and I've talked to him, and we hide behind clothing.
Sure we do. I did.
Right. Right.
Right? I never dressed like this.
Right.
I told you before, it was all black and death and Grim Reaper and Slayer and freaking you name it. It was on my body. And it, you saw me walking down the street and you'd think, that guy's, is he half dead? Because, it was all the metal scene, mate. But you're right, you can hide behind it.
Oh, for sure.
Because to me, it was like a label.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
and I was
probably
bullied.
what you were hoping was it would scare people away. Like, leave me alone.
Exactly. And it did. It works quite well, Beckett. It's the complete opposite of taking your clubber off. Right? So it's a different response you get.
Well, and what's interesting, right, for them is it really isn't sexual at all.
No,
Isn't.
of course not.
You know what I mean?
No.
But, like, it's interesting, and what I learned from him in understanding that was you really get to know another soul for another soul.
For
Because
sure.
you're not hiding behind your Chanel or your Versace or your, like you
Right.
said, your goth wear or your
Right.
there's not this initial energetic print that you're putting out saying, like, if, like, for you, get away from
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. That's why the Buddhists shave their head.
Right.
The Buddhists shave their head because there's no attachment.
Right.
to vanity.
Exactly.
So they shave their head.
Right.
So, hair's gone. I mean, hair to anybody, well, I'm a little biased. Um, but hair to most people is very important. To me, not so important. But even that, I love my bald head.
Right.
I love my bald head. Someone takes a piss out of me, they can't hurt me because I like it. It's those connections again. If I had an insecurity with it and someone took the piss out of me, I'd be annoyed.
Well, right. And that's interesting you bring that up because I did a workshop one time on the 4 agreements. Have you ever read that book?
I've heard about it. Yes.
I'll send it to you. Seriously.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
all right.
It's amazing. It's very short. It's amazing. And I did an 8-week course, and I forced myself to take it because I knew it would make me shift. I knew it would up level me. And the facilitator, the teacher at the time, one of my mentors, said, if we sat in a circle in this room, and I'll use you and your bald head, because we're talking about it. And she said, if I asked your opinion about, if you asked everybody about your bald head. She goes, people are going to have different opinions, right? They might say, hey, man, it looks amazing. Hey, you look ridiculous. You look like a cue ball. She goes, so if you take those opinions, right? Like people would. So
you're right.
Those opinions as a dart.
It's funny how you said it. Never been insulted politely. Sorry.
Right. But if you take their opinions as a dart being thrown at you, and all those darts lay at your feet.
Yeah.
She said, then think of the dart that you pick up and then you stab yourself with.
Oh, no shit. Right.
Because that's the opinion you believe, which is your truth within yourself.
Yeah. Your own insecurity.
Right.
Yeah.
So people aren't hurting you. You're hurting you because only people can hurt you if you allow it because there's some part of you that believes that truth.
Prime example right there then, right? Nobody can do anything to hurt me. You can say whatever you want.
Right.
I like this.
And that's hard to do, especially right on social media. I mean, and that's where people get fearful of. And then that's why I end up, a lot of my clients that I work with are people who are afraid to step into their power. They're afraid to step into the light. They're afraid to go, this is me, weird and all. Love me, leave me. I don't care. This is essentially who I am.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fear in that.
Oh, shit, dude. I was there. I mean, that. Right. Stepping into a completely unknown area, like.
Well, think about that. How do you go from emo dude to wearing malas and like meditating?
That's dude. That's a whole freaking story, mate. And it's a weird one. I mean, you can't, mate. There's one thing you're going to understand with being a friend of mine. You might be even a bit weirder because I'm
already weird.
I'm finding I'm surrounding myself with people just like me. And I'm like, Beckett's weird. He's a good one.
Yeah.
We'll bring him on board. How far can I take Beckett now? But no, what was we talking about? Oh yeah, no, dude, it's a whole, it's a whole freaking story. It's not like it happened overnight. Right. We talked about it on your podcast, right? Go and look at that. By anybody who's tuning in, go and have a look at that. Right, we'll give it the old plug. Go and watch that because I did an interview. Was it Wednesday? Wednesday was it last week? Wednesday or was it this week?
It launched.
Oh no, it dropped Wednesday.
Yeah,
dropped
Wednesday. It launched. Yeah, it dropped.
It dropped on Wednesday. So go and check that out.
Yeah.
On Beckett's channel. But we kind of talked around that a little bit of how I got where I'm at. And it's a freaking journey, mate. Like you said, it's facing fears, it's battling, it's not easy.
What's your biggest fear right now?
Biggest fear right now? Wow. What's my biggest fear right now?
I had to throw in one of those questions.
You're a freaking pain in the ass with this shit, mate. I swear you think about this at night and you sit there with a pad. You say you're in bed. You're friggin' lying. You say you're in.
Dude, I don't. It literally it just comes to my head. Like I don't.
Oh shit! You're freaking studying this shit up. Out to screw the Buddha.
That's a podcast for a different episode. How to screw the Buddha.
So, yeah, really. Whole new episode. No, what's my biggest fear now? Wow. You know what's come to my mind? You saying that? I mean, I've been put on the spot here, but probably not getting all this to where I want it to go.
Okay.
Kind of, because I mean, we like yourself. We put in the work.
Yeah.
We keep pushing, and yes, it's for our own mental health. I mean, number one, we do it, but we also, and there's many other people out there, but we also are on that plane of, we walk the walk, we talk the talk. We've had our experiences, we got the wisdom, and being able to share that, right? So but I want it to grow. I want there to be a freaking community. I want to be able to go out and do talks. I want to be able to maybe get into schools and freaking, because there's cool in schools, right, for helping kids out with their head, right? So it not expanding to where I want it before they make ashes out of me. Which if I keep going the way I'm going, it ain't gonna be long, mate.
You got years to go. Come on.
So what about you then? What's your biggest fear now?
Oh, that's a great question.
You asked it to me. You didn't see it coming. Like, you asked me, I'm going to ask you.
My biggest fear right now is, it's a good one. I think right now what I'm dealing with is expanding my heart space, going through this whole journey with brain injury. Also, right, yes, growing the channel. I want to reach more people. I want to work with more people, help. All that is true. But I think personally, if I'm going a little deeper and more personal, is opening myself up in a bigger, loving manner, in a way I never have before, to a relationship I really would like, my friends, my family, like taking it to the next level. And that's kind of something I'm throwing myself into, like I like to. And
What does that look like? What does that look like? What does that journey look like?
I'm learning about Tantra, not the sexual side of Tantra, even though it's part of it, but the India, energy of opening that up.
Sure.
And connecting with people on a more soul level. So, I kind of already tell my friends I love them. I don't know why we all don't, especially
I do. Yeah.
Guys to guys. It can be like, oh, don't say that.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
So it's going beyond that and really pushing myself and getting super vulnerable. I'm pretty vulnerable and I'm pretty open.
Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah. Do you think? What gave you that idea, Becky?
Yeah, but to a degree. Like, I know me, and I know there's still parts of me holding back, if I'm being really honest.
Oh, I know. Becky, I've told you, once I get this freaking sorted out, whatever all this is, because you're going to teach me. You don't know it yet, but you are.
I know.
Once I get to know what it's all about, I'm getting you on mine. It's going to be a roast. There's going to be a roast, Beckett.
You can roast me. I mean, I'm good with, I'm good with that. I think, it's pushing myself out there more. And right, we end up working with people that are like us.
For sure.
So, as much as my clients have feared stepping into who they are, whatever they want to do, I also have had that fear. And so I'm really embracing, to your point, the weirdo in me. I can channel,
me
and
too,
I can do readings, and I can see auras, and and that's not stuff I talk about a lot. There's not a lot that people know that. It's like, okay, I need to step out because it does help people, and it's helping people shift in big ways, but it's scary.
It is scary. It's really scary. But you know what though, matey? Play to you, right? Because it takes going to those scary areas to be able to heal somebody else.
Yes.
Through that shit. I really do believe it. And I know that, listen, I'm not dogging therapists. I mean, I know there's for good therapists out there that haven't been through the, I've had people sit in front of me. I can't even comprehend what they've been through, right? Because I haven't been there. But, I do have a relationship with a journey. It's not like I just fell out of the sky, right? But the fact that, you're able to, I honestly believe that healers, especially like us, right? If you haven't been through some hard freaking grind shit, right, we can relate to those people on a completely different level, which is what you're doing. And, you know, more people like you out there is what we need, you know, freaking leave all
Like
the,
us.
more, yeah.
Yeah. More people like us, dude.
Okay. Oh, all right. I'll bring myself into it.
Yeah.
Us.
Well, because
Um,
no, wait. Because this is a good point. Because I think this is another thing people do is they compare their traumas or their journeys,
yeah.
right? And say, well, mine wasn't as bad as that person, so I didn't go. But the reality is, that's all bull. It doesn't matter, and there shouldn't be any comparison because if it was hard for you, it's hard for you, and that's all that matters. You know, one thing over the other isn't harder, and I think that's something I've learned with
Yeah.
working with brain injury survivors, and then I had people who have had cancer who have reached out to me, and people who have had childhood traumas and said,
Right.
you know, I liked how you handled this. Can you help me handle this? And I'll be like, sure. Because I've realized at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you got there.
Right. It's the journey.
Right.
Right.
It was
Dude,
no matter.
I've
Right.
told you this before. I've never thought my lifetime that I'd ever be sitting in a position that I'm in helping somebody else. Are you having a laugh? I'm the geezer with the freaking screwed up head. And, you know, and then I got,
Looks like a nice cue ball to me. I mean,
it's good, right? It's got a little bit of a, my missus, I used to, listen, you know why I went completely listen to this, freaking, because I had really short hair. I used to shave it right the way down, right? So as I'm getting older, this bit here, you know, this bit here starts like fading backwards a little bit. And I'm looking in the mirror and this one's kind of still a bit longer on the sides, right? And I'm thinking, I ain't going to be Friar Tuck. There ain't no...
I was going to say, I'm glad you didn't opt for the comb over.
Blows in the wind, looks like a syrup, looks like the old wig's blowing off. Hang on a minute. And I grow it from here and it goes down my back and it just grows from here. Right. This nice lock of hair.
Coming forward.
Look at this fringe and it's like down here but no more hair.
Right.
No, I used to have this really and I look in the mirror and I'm like, there's no way am I fried tucking. I ain't gonna lose this bit and have this bit around the edge. All I'd need is a freaking bow and arrow and I'd be good with Robin Hood. You know what I mean? So my wife's going, don't shave your head. You got a funny shaped head. She kept saying it. You got a funny shaped head. Don't shave your head. And I'm like,
that's that dart.
Right? Like the dart.
Yeah.
Like the dart, right? Yeah. But I want to. You know, I'm like, I want to bean it. I want to get it off, you know. So this one day, I'm like, I convinced her in the end, and I shaved it all off. And you know, and I used to have a goatee down here. I mean, I had a long.
It suits you, though. I think it suits you.
Well, thank you, Becky. I appreciate that, mate.
I really do. It does.
Yeah, thank you. I like my head.
So let me ask you this: what is your biggest tool that you use to help you overcome fear in the moment?
Meditation, man. Breath work.
Yeah.
Breath work. Slow the breath. I tell everybody. Go straight to your breath. Slowing that in because you're guaranteed you're freaking blood. You're breathing shallow. Your heart rate's up.
Yeah.
You know, because you're any kind of, and it doesn't take long. You know, it only takes that's starting to go before you even know about you're in fear, right? Because your subconscious and everything is already cluing in and computing it all together and going, you're walking into a really fucked up area, right? And
you're mythical fear, not actual fear.
yeah. But you're going, so your mind will start. You know, you don't really know that it's going there, and then you know all of a sudden you're there. You're going in it. So the earlier you can get into that stages of starting to feel that, and then just breath, slow the breath down. I always tell people pick a point like right underneath the nostrils and just above the top lip, like right now. I don't know what that crevice is called, but that little crevice thing there, right? And I tell people, right, focus there, anchor.
Yeah.
And then just keep feeling the breath in that area and just slow it down, man. Meditation, breath work, every time. Every time.
That's a good tool.
What about you? What's yours?
Breath work and mindfulness. You know what I mean? If I can pause, because if you're out in a situation where you're with people and you can't necessarily meditate, breath work definitely. You know, it's the whole inhale for 4, exhale for 8.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah,
that one quite, automatically brings your brain down without having
yeah.
to think. And
Right,
then, a quick mindfulness check of what do I know is true, what do I know is real. You don't have to say it. That also
right.
will just help bring you down because you can say, okay, this is true. This is factual right now.
Yep,
You
yep.
know,
Anchor yourself to something. You know,
right? Exactly.
know
Something not to
it.
be afraid of.
Right, right. Because you're not present. You're freaking all over the place. So you want to anchor yourself to something. You
Yes.
know, I carry crystals and shit in my pockets, and I
I do.
anchor to them.
I have them on my wrist.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, my marla. Sometimes I'll sit,
Yeah.
and just start fingering through the stones. Doing chant in my head. So
Yeah.
yeah, with me, it's like, right, tune into your breath first. What's going on there?
What was
Then
interesting to me when we got jumped on here, and I know we're already
mm,
at 46 minutes. We were going to do
yeah, yeah.
45, guys, but I knew that that's funny with him and I. But we'll probably do an hour. I know one thing that was funny to me that you sent me before we got on here was when you said I use laughter to help with my anxiety.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, if you can laugh, I mean, it's like, one of the things I turn is, you're going to like this. You might have used it, I don't know, right? But one thing to use with clients, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because it makes you laugh. But if you've got a thought coming in, like say a what if, like, oh shit, what if it's going to rain? I'm going to the beach, but what if it's going to rain, right?
Right.
Well, that starts at, if you don't catch it, it's going to start the shit going off, right?
Right.
Because you're already saying, so that negative energy is going to start moving, right? But if you sing it, so you go, what if it rains? You freaking start laughing, right? Because it's ridiculous. So you start, and it pulls your energy back, right? So you're going from looking out there going, ooh, to sing it, what you're thinking, to bringing the energy back. There's certain, it's just tricks, just to fool this. So
Well, you're jarring the
laughter.
brain. You're jarring the brain, which we've learned to stop anything. Like if you, did you ever go up behind somebody and scare them?
Oh shit, yeah. Oh
Right? And you
yeah.
go, huh, and somebody's like,
Yeah.
oh my God. But
Yeah.
that's literally what you're doing to your brain in that instant. And that's telling the brain that this doesn't serve us.
Right.
And you're
Right.
creating a new neural pathway. That's
Right.
literally how you do it.
It's just switching.
Right.
Or put a comedy on. I've been sitting in the living room freaking like starting to feel it, know. So I'll be like, oh shit, get yourself like a couple of really good stand-up people that you really like that make you freaking laugh.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maniscalco is one of mine, right? Italian fella, comedian, has a lot of facial expression, which makes me laugh my ass off. Someone comes in, they've only got to come in and pull a funny face, and I'm gone. They don't even have to say anything, right? So he pulls facial expressions and all that shit with his comedy, and he's funny as shit because he's Italian, right? And my wife's family are part Italian. So I can relate as well to some of the shit that he's talking about when it comes to the freaking family, and I sit there and I laugh my ass off. So if you want someone like that, you don't want to you don't want to put yourself in a position where you got to search,
Yeah.
right? Because I've done that too, especially with music. When you're like, I've got to find the music. I've done that. Like, got to put the right sounds on, right? And all of a sudden it'll hit, and you're like, oh, okay, right?
Yeah.
I can go from Thrashy Slayer to, Bee Gees. Oh, that feels better. But no, tuning in the breath, mate. Number one, it's we got to do loads of different tools which I teach people.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I mean,
Yeah.
as long as you can interrupt that brain pattern and shift it in that moment, and that's really what EMDR therapy even did for me. Your subconscious,
Oh,
you are
right.
reprogramming your brain. So that's why I think stretching your comfort zones, right? That's why I was putting myself in situations that were unfamiliar and uncomfortable,
Right.
because it was like a shock.
Right.
That fear comes up, but it's like, yeah, I hear you, fear, but you're going to sit in the back seat because we're going to do this anyway.
Do you notice? Let me ask you this, because this has only happened to me recently.
Okay.
Right, within the past maybe month or so, right? since I've done so much freaking work in this, and this is the first time I've actually started to notice this, is the voice of reason is becoming louder than the voice of bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? I'm starting to tune into that a little bit now. Like, I'm noticing that my mind will be going this way, but then that voice of reason comes in, like the conscious mind, and goes, well, this, like like a stoicism, like some kind of, these are the laws, these are the rules, universe. Boom, that kind of, I can kind of move that away. I've noticed that happening a little bit more now.
Yeah, what you learn, and what you're teaching yourself is to trust yourself, because really that's the stem of fear. Your stem of fear is, I don't trust myself to get through fill in the blank.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I'm afraid. I can't do whatever. But once you start building that rapport with yourself, and that's why you're understanding, right? If I put myself in uncomfortable situations within limits, of course, for you, I always tell people, you don't want to go so extreme that your brain just shuts down and your nervous system elevates, but you just want to go enough to go, okay, this is slightly uncomfortable, but I can handle this. Right. It's just that sweet spot of understanding, like, I'm not comfortable, but I'm not way out there.
Right.
You know
right.
I mean?
And you got to read your people and all. I don't know about you, but you got to read, some people can take that little bit of a push in, they're right there, and you just give them that little bit of a shove and they're like, okay, they're in, and then there's other people you got to really like you say.
Yeah. It depends where you're at or where they're at. You know what I mean? And going, okay, you're ready for that. But that will actually, to your point, you'll start to settle. And now that you trust yourself, your nervous system starts to relax. So you'll find that the anxiety and the fear doesn't come up so much anymore. It's almost a form of emotional regulation.
Oh, sure.
It's like, now I get it. I trust myself. So we don't need to alert, and go, oh, this is anxious or this is fearful. And that's something I had to work through after my brain injury, because I got very anxious around, like, being out in people, which I never
I don't doubt that. Shit. I mean, I've done it before, being around a whole crowd of people and being,
I never had that. And after the brain injury, I had some ADHD. So I had to learn to adapt to that, because that was new for me. I would get really sweaty and panicky almost. And I'm like, what is going on? And it was the stimulation of all those people and all that things. And my brain was just like, this is too much.
Yeah. Overstimulation, man.
Right.
With your brain injury, I can't imagine. I mean, even I can get that myself. You can even get. It's the reason why I told you I banged on music and stood there with a shaker in my hand and started freaking dancing and shaking my body out, because I could feel my energy was way high. I'm like, oh shit, it's like freaking crazy right now. I got to like get rid of some of this shit.
Yeah.
And here I am with a freaking dancing around the room with a shaker and freaking music on.
Well, it's funny because now I'm feeling like we've been talking about, and we'll kind of, I guess, wrap up here.
Yeah, man.
Is I have all this energy in me now, and so now it's interesting. You and I both know Jo Beth. Beth, if you're on here, I know you were on here. We love you. She's all talking about movement, body movement. And so it's like, okay, so I'm trying to let myself like dance and move the energy to get my brain to calm down, because energetically I'm just going through this huge, buzzing.
I love watching Jo Beth. Have you seen her recently on her Instagram where she's bouncing around, dancing around? Freaking dude, it's like you watch it and you're feeling like,
I know, you're over there like this with her.
I'm feeling pretty good. Hang on. I'm kind of digging. It's picking my energy up. She don't even know it.
I know. That's what she's always doing. And I'm like, okay, all right.
I've started doing it at traffic lights on my walks, mate. I thought, you know what, I'm going to start, because it's facing those fears again, right? It's like, if I'm in a good spot in my mind, why wouldn't I be?
Right.
Dance, show other people. Screw them, right?
And that's, I think, what I love about her. And again, I would encourage people to follow people who get you to go out of your comfort zone. And she does not care. She does not care who is seeing her or following her. And I love that, because it's okay, well, if she can do it, I can do it. You know
Yeah. Saw her there. Well, I was dancing in my room, so something rubbed off. Some energy got transferred over, because there I am with one of those shaker eggs, frigging standing in the room with a speaker in one ear and the shaker egg in the other, and I'm going,
exactly.
I'm bouncing around, made me feel better.
Watch, now she's gonna call us out and be like, "Yeah, make a reel out of that." You guys gotta. We'll get you to face your fear. You both have to post a reel on that. I'm like, ooh, that might. Right. I don't know that I have her confidence.
I'll dance. I don't give a shit.
I
Come back it. We'll do it, mate. Who gives a shit, mate? Grab yourself an egg. We'll have a session on here, mate.
Yeah, maybe we'll do together. Maybe
We'll start off like that. Next one we come on alive, we'll start off with some shaker eggs and we'll just get into it. We'll bang some music on in the background.
Oh, what did I just walk into? I
Oh, you have no idea, mate. You really. I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you, matey. Your whole demeanour is going to completely shift into a nut job.
That's okay. Everybody already thinks I'm weird, so they'll just be like, "Oh, he's now next level weird." That's fine. That's great. So.
Yep. And I'm going to learn your level weird. So shit. Because I want to get into you, which is weird. Because I look at you and I'm like, he's into some freaking weird shit, but I want to know about it. I want to know about it. I'm like, I really want to know about this shit, and then I'm going to get involved with that. So yeah, don't think you ain't screwing me up and all.
Oh, that's you wait. I'll get you into some weird stuff. Everybody.
Well, I know you will.
Weird.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah. Well, mate, I want to thank you for being on here. Guys, thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys love this, please let us know. We'll start doing this weekly or something.
Yeah, man.
And meet up with you guys, and we'll start getting questions from you because we want to incorporate you guys into these conversations.
Yeah.
So I have something on this platform where you guys could even call in and talk to us, which I think would be really freaking fun.
Holy shit.
If you dare.
I don't know what kind of answer you're going to get.
Right. There's no guarantee what answers you'll get.
Could go anywhere.
Yeah, but we'd love to chat with you guys and make you a part of these conversations because it's just fun and we love you and the community we're all trying to build.
For sure.
Thank you guys for being here. We will talk to you soon, and please show us some love if you like this. Share, subscribe. We appreciate to both our channels.
Absolutely.
And have an amazing weekend, guys. We love you.